Our next poet is Jeffrey Pethybridge. Jeffrey is the author of Scriven, the Bright Treatise, Noemi Press, 2013. His work appears widely in journals such as Chicago Review, Folk, Poor Claudia, the Iowa Review, Lit, New American Writing, and others. He teaches in the Jack Kerouac School of Disembodied Poetics at Naropa University, where he's the managing director of the summer writing program. He lives in Denver with the poet Carolina Ibid and their son Patrick. Together they curate and host Lord Weary's reading series and edit Visible Binary. He's currently at work on a documentary project centered around the recently released torture memos entitled Force Drift, an essay in the epic. Give it up for Jeffrey!
Thank you, friends. I'm going to start with a poem by the late British poet Sean Bonney, who died this past November in an accident in Berlin. And there's probably no poet, well, he's a punk rock poet. I was reading a review of his work today, and someone was talking about him being prophetic, which is to say something like angry the way an old school prophet would be, but without the force of the divine behind it, but still needing to have something equivalent to the divine behind the condemnation of capitalism and its other regimes. This is called Second Letter on Harmony. Okay, let's try again. So bear in mind, this is going to be naive as hell. I mean, I haven't done the requisite study of what harmony is and what it has been, etc. What I can gather from a careful reading of some of Lenin's notes on Hegel, you've got something there about Pythagorean harmony of the spheres, proposing a perfect cosmology, a hierarchy built on scalar realities that justify social conditions on Earth, where everybody is in their place and nobody is able to question the beauty and perfection of these relationships. Straightforward, for it to work, for all these justifications to hold true, a fictional body is essential. The anticon, or counter-Earth. Thus, at the limit, the gravitational pull that holds the entire system of hierarchical harmony together is an untruth, but an untruth with the power to kill. But if this untruth is the site of justification and corporate, i.e. ritual slaughter, it is also the site, magnetic as hell, of contention and repulsion, which can transgress its own limits until something quite different, namely crime or impossibility appears. For Ernst Bloch, the revolution was the crossroads where the dead come to meet. For Lorca, music was the scream of dead generations, the language of the dead. But our system of harmony knows so well it contains its own negation that it has mummified it. And while we know we live within a criminal harmony, we also know we are held helplessly within it as fixed subjects, or rather as objects, even cadavers of an alien music. But never mind. Just as protest is useless only because it stays within the limits of the already known, so the hidden harmony is better than the oblivious. Heraclitus! 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 Music as a slicing through of harmonic hierarchies, etc. Poetic realities as counter-earths, where we can propose a new stance in which we can see and act on what had previously been kept invisible, etc. Ourselves, for one thing. That sounds just great, absolutely tip-fucking-top, until you remember that equally the harmony of the money fetish is that of the commodity fetish, only now becomes visible and dazzling to our eyes. I.e., we don't have any kind of monopoly on harmonic invisibility. And all those occultist systems that some of us still love so much have always been bourgeois through and through. That is not a question of gentrification, but the whole process has always started from the invisible spot where your feet are, tapping whatever fetishized rhythms right into the star-encrusted ground. That famous green door with a sign, no admittance except on business. That is, however much we may claim that it is not protest, but a vast alteration in the structural scansion at the city's score. The hidden contours of our songs are still a nasty little rich kid fluttering his hectonic chromosomes all over our collective history. Shit. It's why I still hate Mojo magazine. Okay? Now let's get really obvious. Once, revolutions took their poetry from the past. Now, they have to get it from the future. We know that. Famous and so on. In its contemporary form, the slogan Greek anarchists were using a couple of winters ago, we are smashing up the present because we come from the future. We are smashing up the present because we come from the future. I love that, but really, it's all just so much mysticism. But if we can turn it inside out, on its head, etc., we'll find this, for example, the repeated rhythm, figure, a screamed riff, pushed its insistence past music. It was hatred and frustration, secrecy and despair. The stands spread like fire through the cabarets and joints of the black cities, so that the sound itself became the basis for thought, and the innovators searched for uglier modes. The stands spread like fire through the cabarets and joints of the black cities, so that the sound itself became a basis for thought, and the innovators searched for uglier modes. That's Amiri Baraka, a short story called The Screamers from 1965 or something like that. That is metallic, musical, screeches at systems of thought, pushing away from the through and through, the imposed limits of the conventional harmonic and social systems, thus clearing some ground from where we can offer counter proposals, slogans, the battle cries of the dead, though obviously Pizza Express and the Poetry Cafe have done as much as in their power to neutralize any truth content that may be lurking within the impossibility. On September 30th, 1965, Pharoah Sanders, McCoy Tyner, Donald Raphael, Garrett, Jimmy Garrison, Elvin Jones, and John Coltrane recorded the album live in Seattle. It is, according to someone quoted on Wikipedia, not for those who prefer jazz as melodic background music. It's one of those examples of recorded music that still sounds absolutely present years after the fact, because it was one of the sonic receptacles of a revolutionary moment that was never finished. It was one of the sonic receptacles of a revolutionary moment that was never realized. That is, it has become a Benjaminian monad, that's a good band name, a cluster of still unused energies that still retain the chance of exploding into the present. Play it loud in the Waltham shopping mall and you'll see what I mean. Yeah. I'm thinking about a specific moment on the album, around 13 minutes into Evolution, when someone, I don't think it's actually Coltrane, blows something enough through a horn that forces a dimensional time loop through the already seismic constellations set up within the music harmonic system, becoming a force that moves beyond any musical utterance while still containing direct, clear communication as its center. Fire and death on your uptight ass. I mean fire and death on your uptight ass. Among many other things, obviously, I guess, Seattle, like anywhere else, is held up in gentrification by now. But anyway, that horn sounds like a metal dome, a place where the dead and future generations meet up, and all on blue electric fire. C.L.R. James once said that the violent conflicts of our age enable our practiced vision to see into the very bones of previous revolutions more easily than before. Go figure. Due to its position in the Pacific Ring of Fire, Seattle is a major earthquake zone. On 30th November 1999, Seattle WTO protests included direct and rational attacks on, among other things, the Bank of America, Banana Republic, the Gap, Washington Mutual Bank, Starbucks, Planet Hollywood, etc., etc. Cosmos, out of this world, body and soul, you get what I mean. 2 years later in Genoa, the anarchist Carlo Gianni got a bullet, a police bullet, got a police bullet in the center of his face. Remember that name, Carlo Gianni. Capital's untruth, its site of corporate slaughter, i.e. ritual slaughter, the silent frequency at the center of its oh so gentle melodies. I can't see to finish this letter. I've a lot of Valium today, but anyway, to put it simply, the purpose of song is not only to raise the living standards of the working class, but to prevent the ruling class from living in the way that they have been. The tranquility. The violent conflicts of our age make it impossible to recollect musical emotions in tranquility, unless it is the kind of tranquility that makes the clear, freer, shrill turmoil of the revolutionary moment, striving for clarity and influence, a high metallic wire, etc. The counter-earth rigged to such sonic stroboscopics that we, however temporarily, become the eruption into present time of the streams of the bones of history, tearing into the mind of the listener, unambiguously determining a new stance toward reality, a new ground outside of official harmony from which to act. Or to put it another way, next time that some jazz fan tells you that late Coltrane is unlistenable or something, punch him in the face 7 times, more later. That had a lot of words. I hope you heard some of them. Sean Bonney, that's Bonney. And there's a lot of good stuff for free and on the internet. He used to keep a blog called Abandoned Buildings. Recent book is called Our Death from Commune Editions. Another book called Letters Against the Firmament. This is like 8 minutes long.
Thank you for telling us that. It's actually like incredibly useful information.
That's how long our next, what did you say?
8 minutes.
That's what I was gonna say. That's how long our next song is.
So this,
Go on.
so it's called Force Drift. This is the 10th in the 20-section poem. And it's a corpse poem, so it's kind of a sort of voice out of a corpse, a collective one. Force Drift 10. Of the corpse poem, pink teeth in its dead mouth, black, red, bronze, gold black, dark red, brown, gleaming red, yellow chrome, firelit bronze, of the underlying mechanism of how I am in the epic. I did not want my pain to be transmitted, dirt, abomination, the bitten symptom, park, grayed by paper ash and carcinogenic dust, pink, tooth, a sign in the mouth, me and the wasps, paper makers, the other dead won't touch the stuff, slow, boiling pith to pulp. I did not want to be asphyxiated, dry, submarine, dirt, submarine, swarming with the casualties of or through metastasis, and the underlying phenomenon is still awaited. An emergent kind, albeit lesser, this new lividity, undead. I did not want to be detained among the carcinogens and the school of Americas. The number of breaths you can absent under the waterboard and the 12th technique, false burial, bite on that, videotaped, analog, like any animal or city, so it can be destroyed, effaced. I trust that Simon's intention to witness something, I heard you say, of or through metastasis. As they enter the performance space, audience members are each given a shred of car tire to hold, a token of admittance and entrance. Rubber is burnt throughout. A montage of blasted cityscapes is projected through the space and plays on a loop like any acid or School of Americas. I did not want my naked sex to die in or under the second device of simulated death that will not be torn out of mine. Guantanamo. And when the maximum decibels of skinny puppies subside, only once or twice a minimal composition plays as relent. Relent must be felt to be possible, of lasting, beyond the trauma effect of simulated death. I did not want to be the long century of it, the school of the Aleph, bare life, digital, sexually humiliated, naked, constant night noise, no talking, everyone in the dark with the guards wearing a light on their psychological heads, of or through metastasis, and Simon's intention to witness something. I heard you say, I do not want to be the proof of how it evacuates, shatters, breaks apart, levels the built world. And the underlying, it's not a mechanism, the ground form of the person. Think we must. I heard you say, under the carcinogens and the second device, the other dead won't touch it. Rainfall, nuclear, low apartment buildings, sheared open to the gun-wrecked air. Pink teeth, black sunlight, silver gray air, weapon-grade chrome. Throated, that constant white noise, naked, enforced, corrosive of the person, strange flora in the flashback. The shit is everywhere, and the excruciating plastic of the feeding tube in cases before they removed the throat. Obey, disobey. I am not a thing to be torn out of mine. A thing torn out at the trauma effect. I heard you say, we know all through metastasis. I am not that Gul Rahman. I am not that Yasir Talal Al-Zarani, not that Riyadh the facilitator. I am not that Mujahideen. There are no records, a trace, a test, false burial. To be black sunlight, leveling the built world. Streets sheared open, throats thinking the metastasis of the disaster. Dirt, abomination, and not its relent. Not what I thought it would be. Gleaming red, yellow, chrome, gold, black, and it smelled like tea under the dome. I only felt it once. It smelled like tea under the dome. I only felt it once. Chorus of women, some dressed in white, some in black, move throughout the performance space. They improvise dances and sometimes ululations in response to the musics and images being projected. Strange flora in the flashback in which I am a person of strange flora. Earth, black, red, bronze, gold, black, dark, red, brown, body, dirt, network, sprawling, excruciating through the flashback. A remnant, like any animal remade at the trauma effect. The long century of it. Underneath it, a silhouette on the earth where the city used to be. White, strange flowers. A trace of the city wall. Mural flowers, sprawling rhizomatically all through the School of Americas. That cruel metastasis. Not what I thought it would be. Dirt submarine. I am not that Yasir, not Mujahideen before they removed the throat. Ginger, pink teeth, irises. Intermittently, throughout the ritual, a woman or a whole chorus will approach an audience member, establish some kind of connection or gestural accord. And as these relationships evolve and ultimately find their durational shape, the chorus will whisper a message to the audience member, themselves now an integral part of the rite. And this is the sign that the ritual has ended for this person. And they leave, and it is understood that they'll keep the message as a private token of passage and exit back out into the sudden and catastrophic world. Back out into the sudden and catastrophic world. Pink rigor, nuclear rainfall, eyes, irises, and plastic sandbags, rubber cords, wires, low apartments, streets torn out at the disaster effect, a trace, an after image already, even before they removed the throat, underneath it, a person remained at the trauma effect, a person of strange flora and dirt, earth, colors, slides of it, this bird. black, red, yellow, chrome, bronze, dark red, bronze, gleaming, gold, black, red, yellow, chrome, bronze, dark red, brown, gleaming, gold, black, red, yellow, chrome, brown, dark red, brown, gleaming, slick, chthonic now as if that were a solution. Slick, chthonic now as if that were a solution. Bare life, no sunlight, underneath the 12th technique. I did not want earth, I am not bare life, I heard you say, through the metastasis. The other dead won't touch it. This paper effect and intention to witness something. I am not that remnant, earth, not that pain to be transmitted, the long century of it, chthonic now, no sunlight, earth, swarming with the casualties, excruciating all through the flashback. I am not that remnant, earth, not that pain to be transmitted, the long century of it, chthonic now, no sunlight, earth, swarming with the casualties, excruciating all through that flashback. And now, a chorus approaches you, and you find yourself taken up into the sensuous and gestural accord, that project of the human. You move through the dance, then one of the chorus whispers to you a sentence of perfect secrecy in a long century of dirt. Seems like a good ending to it. Yeah. Thank you.
Give it up for Jeffrey. Good job, and everyone is still in the audience. The best people stick around the whole time. It's time for our final poet of the night. Carolina Evade works appears widely in journals such as the Kenyan Review, Crazy Horse, Jubilat, Colorado Review, Gulf Coast Poetry, and others. She holds an MFA from the Michener Center for Writers and a PhD from the University of Denver. She's won awards and fellowships from the Sadler Center for Poetry, Canto Mundo, the Breadloaf Writers Conference, and the Academy of American Poets. She was awarded an NEA Creative Writing Fellowship in Poetry for 2015. She's currently at work on a book project called Hill Hyde. Carolina grew up in West New York, New Jersey, and now lives in Denver. Her fellow travelers include poet Jeffrey Pettibridge and their son Patrick. Together they edit Visible Binary. Give it up for Carolina.
How's it going?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
So, this is awesome to be here. So I like this space. It doesn't acknowledge this amazing psychedelic I will read some poems, and ghosting through them are a lot of M's. One of the M's is the artist, Cuban-American Ana Mendieta. She died at 36, and her husband, the minimalist artist, whose name is Carl Andre, was first accused and then later acquitted. And this happened in '85. It divided the art world, and a lot of people still today believe that he really is guilty of making her go out the window. She plummeted about 36 floors to her death in Manhattan. This is called Hide. I heard you in the garden. Sorry, I need a light. Yeah, you have that little clothespin light. I think that'll be perfect. Thank you. I was naked. Because, and I was afraid in the garden. I heard your voice, and he said, I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid. I heard you walking in the garden, afraid, and I hid, afraid because of my hide. I hid the sound of you with my fear. I was growing naked in the imbecile garden. I was afraid of the paradise in my ear. When night entered me like drink enters a bottle, it's like I drank your many drams of fear. Then my voice was nearly naked, hush, like a fear tree. Instead of fruit, the tree was full of night. And I was drunk, and I hid you with my torso, and my torso was scraped. And I hide inside the orchard of your voice. I am frightened. I am afraid, so I hide. I can't hear you when you're screaming. Line like a piece of twine. Line like a piece of dry grass. Plank, nail, a finger pointing there. A finger shush. Line like a cut sewn up, like a rupture stitched, like a bicycle cutting snow, a game of telephone. Line like a shift of cord between cans, mouth to ear repetitions, a human chain saving a driver from rush flood. A barrette, a strand of hair latched in. We are each of us from somewhere else. A loft for city miles, the telephone wire. Line like City Avenue traffic, dotted with Shit Avenue where the horses have been. Horses become beautiful noise. Line like string tied to a balloon. String tied to a door handle, tied to a tooth. Every time there's a boundary, we must appoint the messenger to cross it. Line like the space between a camera and the calamity. Line like the space between a camera and the calamity. Line like an X-ray ray, like a track of menstrual blood down the thigh. Parade spectator line, trombone slide, a column of air inside, a column of air and its spit trap. I can't hear you when you're whispering. A sunwind line, a line of hair blown into the camera eye. Wait. Hush. Listen. Is a caesura a quiet hallway in a church? Is it a silence with commandments to hush, listen? Was it composed for two voices? Is that silence like the time you said, stop it, wait, to the boys, how you should have said, stop, but you said nothing behind La Carniceria that sold live chickens? When a boy picked up a brick, throwing it at the hen, wait, from a near distance? Is the caesura that near distance a brick travels from hand to head? Is it white space like piano keys playing softer and softer until 0 decibels? Is it the cleared sweep after a missile falls? No more green? Does it share the pull of gravity? Is it the living body of Ana Mendieta dropped, stopped from a window? Is she in some kind of white now? Is it composed of no and no? Wouldn't you say the white is like a space of an envelope where the postage must go? Dear person who won't write back, most esteemed ghost matter, my darling inventory of nature, the white lie, white whisper, hearsay, flickering, all reaching the moment of a candle blown out. Is the white break like a hospital door swinging open, and there your father delivered back to you? Linen white muzzle across the face. Linen white muzzle across the face. Does the break assemble into a waiting room? One woman asks for the housekeeper's name, while her friend replies, are they all named Maria? Is the white space clean with the smell of ammonia? Is it dizzying like laughter? Say, stop it, wait. Is it like a hurricane with the same name? Has it become marble quiet like a wall for interning ashes? Is it the sound of rubble? Isn't the empty white more like moons growing brightest from right to left, right to left, like a message in the Arab side of town? Spray painted on a curfew night? Wouldn't you say it's composed of more than two voices? Like a chorus of girls speaking in unison there. Aren't they all named Maria? Do they make the sound of rubble? The nothing, you say, is it dressed in white like the guy in your group, punching the girl in the rival group, who talks trash at us, and he hits her? Because a woman is liberated just like a man, just like a woman, just like a man. Liberation, is it white with flight? Is liberation silent? Wasn't it composed from a pyrotechnic ethnic finale, whites of eyes like the white of a room you walk into and no one seems to be grieving. Isn't this white space the white of human teeth, glossed with blood on the concrete? Can I have a phone? Thank you for your... Drapery studies. Bridal, burial, dress. Fabric around the head, the shadow of the head, a fabric. Shroud the fabric around the head, the shadow of the hand, a fabric shroud. Coffin, fin, nací allí, jaula. Raíces, will you and aid me? Yeah, you should coo in a coffin. Envuelva la tela alrededor de la cabeza con la mano de sombra de la mortaja de tela. Wrap the cloth around the head with the shadow of the hand of the cloth shroud. Wound, the past participle of to wind. Wound, cut on the skin. Wound, cut on the skin. To wind, envelop the corpse in fabric. Windy, a woman chasing a hat down the walkway. Envolver, to wrap the organ. Volver, to return. Volver, to turn into. Scripts for the future. Chatter around town will be of blindness. All ghosts will be Russian ghosts at parties. Always the law here is to sing. Believe me, no thought bubble tarries above your head for all the brethren to read. They're streaming a film on the history of the sun. Since eyes evolved to see underwater, do you prefer photos of landscapes or photos of people? You choose the figure for God among the lavish descriptions of polar deserts. Information clouds known as the neo-beautiful. Watching 4-minute videos on how to draw blood samples with a butterfly needle. You will all have gone ancestral by then. Say unto them that you were changed into a heliotropic plant, then back to a woman, then back to a plant again. Unlucky women carry too much yellow bile. What Paleozoic sunlight was like. Imagine what Paleozoic sunlight was like. Acknowledge, soul begins in the liver. Take the vexing thought to the anagram machine. Network metamorphoses into a wet thorn. Tell me what my about shall be. There's a cherry tree in the courtyard of puberty. There's a cherry tree in the center of puberty. A chlorine hand wash before entering. Love's written all over your face, my love. Love's written all over your face, my love. Love is written all over your face, my love. What incredible footage has emerged. Say something about yourself. Morning builds brick by brick what night dismantles. Say something about sorrow. Then the markets were full of police dogs. Say something about cruelty. And the dogs were full, but the people were not full. Say something about yourself. I had a doll named January 1st. Her eyes were marble blue. Tip her back and they would shut like an ode to hinges. Open, close, a backslash ode. Stop, go, goodbye, hello. I went into my inmost thought, where underwater cliffs and mountains shadow. I collected flower lists, the list of berries, separating the poisoned ones from the sweet. A list of woodwinds, look, a red boat listing in the bay. Say something about cruelty. No one cares whether or not you eat. Say something about the voice out of a whirlwind. Yours is a mortuary art. Heart gets atomized to earth in your vernacular. Say something about the bride. Then there will be pills for laughing and for remembering, pills for staying awake, a bracelet that will track your sleep. Say something about the lovers. It's a feeling in the torso. Put your hand here. Some arrow pierced through. Some sparrow. From the devil thread. Ana Mendieta's film Blood Sign, March 1974, Iowa, opens with a still shot on a white interior wall as Mendieta walks to the center of the frame. She wears a white long-sleeved pullover and brown pants. A pan filled with animal's blood sits on the ground to the right of her. A pan filled with blood, not of her own body, sits on the ground to the right of her. She dips her hands and forearms into the painter's pan filled with blood from an animal and begins drawing with her arms as the tools itself. She draws a narrow arc that encompasses her 4.8 stature. Speak of the devil. May you be in heaven a half hour before the devil, in the numbers before the devil sees your papers. Devil in the head, the devil will find an idle mind for idle hands. The devil is beating his wife. Look out the window. Cry, sun rain. Cry out, sun shower at noon. Who permitted this? The most beautiful way to die is by an angel kissing the spirit out of your mouth. In the center of the ark, Mendieta is writing words, and only until she walks away can we see the entirety of the phrase. There is a devil inside me. There is a devil inside me. She darkens the art with another and another downward stroke on the wall, soaking her arms again with the substance once coursing through pigs. The blank space is no longer imposing, no longer ugly. She has made it a personal zone. She has made it a personal zone she can fit her form into. The most painful way to die. The soul leaves the body like thorns pulled through a bale of cotton. Ain't no devil in hell gonna walk in the Jesus in me. Can't look inside me. It's like taking a picture of the sun. Can't look inside me. It's like taking a picture of the sun. Más sabe el diablo por viejo que por diablo. Look out the window. The devil is beating his wife. Do you like your hell as white, as crisp, as sulfur, as handbasket, as fire, as frozen? You and me and the devil, mate. You and me and the devil, mate. Listening to Mendieta's voiceover play in the empty theater, I thought to begin a descent narrative. There is the quality to Mendieta's voice in my memory now that materializes like a carving in the sky before it changes shape and fades out. I remember putting my voice in blank cassette tapes. The red record button, my voice would spin in meters of black ribbon. One's own voice is made strange when played back, or when it's heard underwater, unrecognizable when it's heard in hell. La carne para el diablo, los huesos para el Señor. No man is alone with a woman when the shaitan is the third. Las tres voces, three filthy mouths. Hang a mirror in the porch to keep the devil away. To keep away from evil, you must sing to it. To keep away from evil, you must sing to it. Tell the truth and shame the devil. Tell the truth and shame the devil. Devil, let me loose. There is no stranger, date of the devil. Look out the window. The devil is beating his wife. My muteness, murmur and mutter. Be more than mum, my susurrus. Be a turbulent chorus. Be a noisy throat clearing. Devil na, devil nor. Do you devil a bit? Devil light your cigarette? Do you devil a doubt? Devil among the tailors? Devil a penny, devil a wit. Devil can cite poetry for his own. Drink from the devil's ink pot. Devil float in devil flowers. Devil plays the sorrow tunes. Why should the devil have all the good music?
Give it up for Matt Clinton! Remember Caitlin and Exist Violently Art? If you want to see more of what we do, you can follow Black Market Translation and Punch Drunk Press and Exist Violently Art on Instagram and on Facebook. We're here every month. Thank you for sticking around. There's a comedy mic super soon. And I hope y'all have a great night.
Come see us tomorrow night at the Three Kings Tavern, like